All right. Thank you so much, Tejnoor, for taking out time from your busy schedule for this podcast. And I think this podcast will be really helpful to our listeners and to people who are following us on Instagram and on YouTube because they'll have much more clarity when it comes to studying in Canada. I think right now it's a good time to be making this podcast because इसके पहले तो पिछले 1-2 साल से कैपिंग की वजह से इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स का कनाडा जाना काफ़ी कम हो गया था बट नाउ डेफिनेटली कैप्स आर गोइंग टू बी रिमूव्ड एंड नाउ साइंस आ रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स विल बी इनवाइटेड सो प्लीज़ विदाउट वेस्टिंग एनी टाइम tell us about your story. Let's start from India. You completed your 12th. What happens? What made you think I should go to Canada for studies?
So I think so. I completed my 12th 2020, right before COVID started.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to study in a university in India. I studied arts, so I wanted to study journalism. And at that exact moment, COVID happened. So when that hit, I was going to be studying like virtually. So me and my father were sort of comparing options in terms of okay, if you're going to study virtually, and he looked at the systems and how things were. Like it was WhatsApp, it was very organized, but in Canada, especially like the systems were already built in place with Blackboard and like digital education and like online classes that the system was very stronger. And also like just comparing where you would be earning like 30,000 rupees a month in India or like a 3 lakh per or like a 2 lakh or 3 lakh or like a maximum 5 lakh job in the journalism field.
Yeah.
Here you can make 5 times the four to like 30 to 40.
Absolutely.
And there's also like government funding. So I decided that if I'm going to be studying online, it's better to go where systems are better, there's more opportunity, there's less competition.
Yeah.
And the learning is much more sort of so instead of shifting from journalism, I went into media communications where I learned videography, photography, all of that. So we had the Humber has one of the best in class video production studios in house, which is pretty good, which is amazing to learn on. So we were learning on like $1,000, like $15,000, $30,000 of equipment that we could just rent out for free and work with. That was a part of our this thing.
So
So I used to rent out like lights and stuff like that. So that's something, just the access to resources, the better quality of education, and like being on what do you call it? Just those systems being built in place, and also just being going out of the country where my brother is in India, so maybe someone going to Canada would work and just liberation. That's what led to
so
me
tell
sort of
me
going there.
tell me the exact course that you chose, and of course you mentioned that you went to Humber College. So what course did you like go with? Did you go with a bachelor's degree or did you go with a undergraduate diploma that is quite popular in Canada?
So I went for with an undergraduate diploma, keeping in mind that I would do a bachelor's, but
In the future.
because I could turn that into a for bachelor's degree. But right now I what do you call it? I took a 2 year diploma.
What made you
Or
take a 2 year diploma instead of a degree?
So one thing was in terms of planning and of planning for permanent residency, and also with this program there was something nice where you could go back after 4 years and then do it into a bachelor. So I had that option. So I could study 2 years, work for 3 years, get my residency, and then go back and then turn it into a bachelor's. But the other thing was just because if you study for 2 years, you get a 3 year work permit, and then you study for 4 years and you get a what do you call it? Uh, you still get a 3 year work permit, but
Yeah.
the cost is over 4 years,
Exactly.
and the tuition fees is much higher.
Yeah.
So financially speaking, it's less training.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is if your skill set and if your communication skills are good enough, you can easily get a job even with a graduate
So,
diploma. Although it takes some time, you need to
let's
accumulate
just
experiences.
let's just end this debate today. UG diploma versus a degree. Is it like ये क्या ऐसे पक्का होता है कि अगर आपने यूजी डिप्लोमा किया तो यू वोंट फाइंड अ जॉब और अगर आपने बैचलर्स करी तो आपको पक्का जॉब मिल जाएगी? लेट्स एंड दिस डिबेट राइट हियर बिकॉज यू हैव डन अ यूजी डिप्लोमा इन मीडिया राइट सो टेल मी.
Yeah, and I don't even have a bachelor's.
Yeah, you don't have a bachelor.
So like I just have a UG diploma. So I work at a bank full time
Yeah,
uh, as a web content publisher.
yeah,
I put myself out there
yeah.
that I'll say कि आपको आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी थोड़ी थोड़ी सी ज्यादा, लेकिन जितना आप पैसा और टाइम आप बैचलर्स में लगा रहे हैं उतना ही अगर आप पैसा और टाइम नेटवर्किंग में,
Yeah.
अपनी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स
Yeah,
में,
exactly.
लोगों से मिलने में और अपने आइडियाज अपनी ये एक ना बड़ी सुंदर चीज है यहाँ पे कोई डिग्रियां नहीं देखते, यहाँ पे
Right.
लोग आपका काम देखते
काम
हैं.
देखते हैं. Exactly, that's right.
तो अगर आप काम करेंगे आपको सब मिलेगा.
Amazing.
मैं तो जानता हूँ जो 12वीं पास हैं वो मेरे से ज्यादा पैसा कमा रहे हैं
Yeah. So,
और अच्छी कॉर्पोरेट जॉब्स भी कर रहे हैं.
so we'll come to your career success later. Now you come to Canada. आप Canada आ चुके हो. Tell me about the struggles that you faced, right? क्योंकि जब any student when he or she comes to Canada, it's because I have been there too, right? I've studied in Canada, so I know it gets overwhelming, right? So tell me the moments that you felt like, oh man, the shit is hitting the roof, right? Or overwhelming हो रहा है.
बात तो सही. Yeah, my situation was much more overwhelming because I came during peak of COVID.
Yeah.
And my on also one thing that also is like about my education experiences, I only went to my college like 7 times.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
So
सात बार ही गया हूँ and everybody was wearing masks, everybody was wearing
yeah.
gloves, everybody was like distant, so it was excessively isolating.
Yeah.
So my experience was like excessively overwhelming in the start. I came, I literally had to stay in a hotel for 3 days, then I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and when the quarantine for 2 weeks finished, it was peak of COVID, so
That's
then
tough.
they're like, oh, you know what, now you have to stay indoors for 2 more weeks. So there was nothing happening. But at that point, because everything was closed off, the at that moment there were a lot of jobs in the food industry, in the like the fast food chains and stuff like that, because they needed people to work there because a lot of the working class could not, like they're older, so they could not. So I got like, I think it was my first job I got at Subway. I did it for 2-3 weeks.
How did you
And then I
get your
realized
first job?
it was just online, applying at job portals, sort of going, printed out my resume. Although I didn't have any experience, so then I had to light off oratory experience and then just be like, please, please, please get me a
Yeah.
job. I'll do whatever you want. Kind of like that. I think you'll have to knock on doors. You'll have to work for it. But if you work for it, this country is kind enough to give you things.
Absolutely. I think hard work
Yeah.
is the only cheat code that you have,
Yeah.
right? So, all right. So, how was your experience? Like, आपने बताया कि most of it was online, right? You couldn't go to college because of COVID. But overall, how was your education experience? और वो कैसा होता अगर आप same ही course, same ही field of study आप अगर इंडिया में पढ़ रहे होते तो?
तो यहाँ पे जो ऑल्दो हमारे जो स्टूडियो सेशंस थे और जो इन पर्सन जो साथ मैं 7-8 बारी गया हूँ क्लासेस के लिए गया हूँ, हमारे स्टूडियो सेशंस पूरे होते थे तो हम लोग बुक कर सकते थे स्टूडियो. और हमारे पास पूरा का पूरा स्टूडियो फ्री ऑफ चार्ज था, पूरी की पूरा इक्विपमेंट भी फ्री ऑफ चार्ज था, जिसमें बड़ी बड़ी लाइट्स हैं और आपके पास पूरे के पूरे लोग हैं जो आपको आपके साथ बैठते हैं और आपके साथ पूरा आपको सिखाते हैं. तो जब मैं निकला अपने एजुकेशन के कोर्स से, ऑल्दो मैं सिर्फ 15-20 बारी गया, लेकिन वो 15-20 बारी 4-4 घंटे की प्रॉपर स्टूडियो की क्लासेस हैं. तो जब मैं निकला हूँ मेरे पास एक प्रोफेशनल पोर्टफोलियो था चीज़ों का, विच वॉज वेबसाइट डिज़ाइन, ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन. और जो एजुकेशन है यहाँ पे, इट इज़ ऑल वेरी प्रैक्टिकल इन टर्म्स ऑफ they're going to give you projects to work on, and if you work on those projects really well, you have a you'll have a really strong portfolio that you can show people. और वही हुआ मेरे साथ कि मैं जब निकला मैंने सिर्फ किताबें नहीं लिखी, मैंने प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाए, मैंने वेबसाइट डिज़ाइन करी है, मैंने फैशन शूट्स किए हैं, मैंने पोर्ट्रेट्स खींचे हैं, मैंने ग्राफिक डिज़ाइन किया है, मैंने इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज किए हैं, मैंने सब ये और हमने उसके लिए पिच टेक्स्ट बनाए हैं, सब कुछ मेरे पास कंटेंट रेडी है. तो जब मैं जॉब पर जाता था मेरे पास एक वैरायटी ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस था. अगर मैं इंडिया में जाता तो इंडिया में सब कुछ पढ़ाई सेग्रीगेटेड है, जर्नलिज्म, मास कम्युनिकेशंस, इट्स देयर, बट आपके जो प्रैक्टिकल प्रोजेक्ट्स और वो सब इतने नहीं है जो आप लोगों को दिखा के उनको दिखा सको कि मैंने ये काम किया और मुझे काम दें.
मोस्टली थ्योरेटिकल होता है.
तो सिर्फ मतलब मुझे जहाँ तक मुझे पता है, इट्स वेरी लाइक theoretical. It might, their projects might be there, but And a great thing here is the professors are also working in the industry, so they also pitch you to people. तो मैं जब काम कर रहा था फोटोग्राफी में, उसने देखा कि मैं अच्छे से पूरा रोल करके वो कर रहा हूँ, तो उसने मुझे 2-3 जगह रेफर भी किया जहाँ से मुझे काम भी आया.
That's amazing. So
हाँ.
you were young there, right? You were in college. You just went up there after completing your 12th standard in India, right? So what was that one financial mistake you made, right? Because a lot of internationals, because I've been there too, right? बहुत सारी financial mistakes हो जाती हैं because you're like 18, 19 and you're out there in the world for the first time. So what was that one financial mistake that you made that you would advise to other students who want to come to Canada कि भाई ये मत करना?
मैंने वो करी नहीं है, पर सबसे बड़ी
हाँ
मिस्टेक जो मैंने देखी जो लोग करते हैं वो है गाड़ी ले लेते हैं
गाड़ी
एक
ले
बड़ी
लेते
सी.
हैं. Yeah.
वो एक बहुत बड़ी मिस्टेक है. तो वो तो आपको मतलब I'd say get a car if you need it. If you're living in, let's say, a suburban area,
Yeah.
you need a car because you have to travel around with work and stuff. So that's one thing. But don't get an expensive car that जैसे आपको अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो आपको Dodge
Mustang.
Wrangler नहीं चाहिए.
Mustang चाहिए आपको.
मस्टैंग नहीं चाहिए.
Yeah.
हाँ, मस्टैंग है आपके पास, लेकिन आप जो है कमरा जो है किसी और के साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, exactly. So I've seen this
Yeah.
with students, especially from Punjab and Haryana region. You know, they come to
Yeah.
Canada and the first thing they buy is a Mustang or a Jeep, right? Or a Challenger or a Charger, and they're buried under debt and EMI. And बस फिर उनका focus ये हो जाता है कि जैसे I just want to work as many shifts as possible to get to get to drive this car, and at that point you're not driving the car is driving you. Crazy.
Then yeah, it's like you're feeding the white elephant,
Yeah,
right? So it's
exactly.
nothing. So,
Right.
but my personal financial mistake that I'd say is कि you get a lot of credit if you are here. Everything runs on credit.
Yeah.
But credit is not income.
Yeah.
So sometimes you spend you when you max out your credit cards and the interest starts to come in or you don't pay your bills. That's when you realize that you've been paying like you're just paying for nothing.
Yeah.
तो वो मेरी एक मिस्टेक है कि आप क्रेडिट पे यहाँ पे लोग क्रेडिट पे जीने की आदी हो जाते हैं और सेविंग्स नहीं करते हैं. तो वो एक बड़ी मिस्टेक थी मेरी कि मैंने शुरू में आके यहाँ पे पूंजी जो है जोड़नी शुरू अलग से नहीं रखी, इन्वेस्ट नहीं करी, सब कुछ क्रेडिट पे ले लिया. और फिर वो जो एक चीज है वो एक इशू हो जाता है. फिर आपको आपके सारे क्रेडिट पे चीजें मिल जाती है, फोन मिल जाता
You
है,
get used to it, right?
क्या कहते हैं, या कपड़े मिल जाते हैं. इवन आप कपड़े भी ले सकते हैं क्रेडिट पे, आप जूते भी ले सकते हैं क्रेडिट पे
Yeah.
मंथली पेमेंट्स पे. यहाँ पे आईपैड भी ले सकते हैं, मैकबुक भी ले सकते हैं. तो सब आपकी फिर वो जो क्रेडिट्स है ना वो क्रेडिट में आपका वो मैक्स आउट हो जाता है सब कुछ.
पहले स्टूडेंट
तो
को
वो
पता
एक
नहीं
चीज
लगता
आपको
है.
माइंडफुल रहनी पड़ती है.
पहले पता नहीं लगता
हाँ?
but that's how the economy traps you, right? That's how, because
Yeah.
it's a credit economy in the West, right? So that's how it traps you.
Yeah, and then you can afford it, but if you miss a payment, then you don't realize how big the repercussions are also on your credit score, on if you wanna, or just the amount of interest that they're gonna charge you. So you have to be careful with that.
All right. So now, moving forward to your career success. Now, keeping it very short and crisp. In short, tell me, how did you become successful in Canada after doing a 2 years diploma? How did you, start your career in Canada in the media industry?
So one thing that I tell people is there's this thing called like you have to take risks.
Yeah.
So, and you also have to put yourself out there. These are two main ways that you can get through exposure and through what do you call putting through sort of taking risks. So one thing that I did that helped me most is I didn't go and then I came to Canada, but I didn't go to straight away went to Brampton. I stayed outside of Brampton. Either I went to Southern Tobago, surrounded myself, and talked to a lot of local Ontario people. That sort of increased my communication skills. The second thing that I did was I was working in communications and sales. I was working in sales as selling phones for Bell and Rogers, where I was earning not minimum wage, but a little bit more than minimum wage, but it was still hand to mouth. And I was going to the office every day, and there was no growth. So I was constantly applying and reaching out to people. And even though I got a 1 month contract, I quit my full time job to do the 1 month contract with Wild Brain. do managing their content while I was doing like, and then because I had freelance, I used to do freelance photography and videography on the side, which was also suffering because of the nature of and the sales targets and the pressure of that job. So I quit that job and got that 2 month contract and worked from home and then built experience that way. But they didn't renew my contract. I was jobless for 6 months. I took a job at a factory in the meantime and then doing freelance work and still networking. But 6 months afterwards, they gave me a full time contract. They needed someone to be available immediately, and I was, and I got a 12 month contract with a toy company, and
Okay.
that's where how that started. So I
You can name the company if you want.
got a it's called Spin Master. Spin Master is a
It's a
multinational
huge
company that
company. Yeah.
has 40, 50, like a conglomerate that has like 40, 50 companies under it. So it sells toys from Rubik's Cube, DC, Paw Patrol. So it's like a mixture of sort of. So I had a lot of videography experience. So it's a production company mixed with a toy company. So that's how that experience sort of accumulated in terms of like me working freelance. I also was working freelance with in television and like editing and video editing from time to time too. So I was doing like smaller projects. So that's how I accumulated that experience
Yeah.
and then got this job. So then that experience sort of, and then once you get one big company and like that thing, and then you work there for a year and a half, then it's just like your shoes in. So then it's easier to get jobs.
तो उसके बाद then what is the job that you're doing right now and like how's the
So I
experience?
worked at Spin Master for a year, almost a year, and then I got my then I got my permanent residency. And then while I got so then I took a break for 5 6 months, and then I went to India, and then I came back looking for jobs. I had similar experience with website management and content creation stuff. That led me to get a job at Bank of Montreal as a web content publisher, where I've been for the past 8 months.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
now you're working at a huge company, at a major bank, Bank of Montreal, in their media department. How is the work experience like? Like, kaisa? And what do you think? Would it have been different if you're working in the same industry in India? And what are the comparisons that you think कि हाँ अगर मैं इंडिया में होता तो मैं इस तरीके से काम कर रहा होता versus now I'm in Bank of Montreal, I'm in the media department. How is the experience like? How is the work-life
So for
balance? How is the work culture like?
It's much better here. Like in comparison, even like right now, I am earning. If you convert it, I'm earning 30 to 35 lakh rupees.
Yeah,
And my brother earns the same amount of money in India,
yeah,
which is 30 35. Of course, there is purchasing power parity and all of
yeah.
that
Of
stuff,
course,
so
of course.
that adds up. But that's the same amount of money which he's doing. He's a product manager in a fintech firm,
Yeah, exactly.
and he's he's working 10 hours almost,
Yeah,
and he what do you call it he's done a bachelor he got 96% in 12th. Then he did a bachelor's in from Punjab Engineering College, and then he did a fellowship in artificial intelligence, and he's earning the same amount of money as I am, and his work hours are longer.
yeah. And you
So
don't have a
that's the difference in
bachelor's, you
terms.
have a UG diploma, right? And you still are earning the almost the same,
Yeah,
not considering the
amount.
purchasing
So
power parity. Yeah,
parity, yeah. Which is, if you think about it that way, if he comes here, he's probably going to be earning like
yeah, more.
6 times the money, 4 times the money that he's earning right now.
Exactly.
But that's the difference. Like you can, there's value for person, and then after 5 o'clock, no one bugs me. Everybody talks to you respectfully. Companies actually force you to take holidays here
Yeah,
if you're a full-time employee. So they literally like now you have 1 month of vacation, you have to take it. Doesn't matter.
amazing.
So that
So,
happens.
what does your
Yeah.
life look like now? Like overall, work is a part of it, but it's not your entire life, right? So, what does your life look like in
Yeah.
Canada
So
as a 24-year-old?
so be, so as a 24-year-old, like 9 to 5, and then after 5 o'clock you're completely free. But you also have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your house. You have to clean up. You have to buy groceries, cook food if you cook food, and like so you are completely responsible for yourself. So all of those obligations take a lot of your time. Like right now, in between, before you called me, I was literally taking out the laundry, folding all my clothes, and
Yeah.
putting it in the cupboard, which is like that takes about like 35 45 minutes of just like folding, but it takes
Yeah.
hour of your time. So
Absolutely.
like small things like this, like 2 hours cleaning up, looking after things, cooking. That's a lot of that stuff outside of the like work life balance there, but outside just takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And then I also work as a freelance video editor and video production and like photographer. So a lot of those sort of projects that I'm working on also take some time outside of work.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right. So
So
it's
it's it. Hmm.
yeah. So it's fun. Definitely, it's fun, but it's also not a cup of tea, right? It's definitely
Yeah, it's not like you wake up and then your mother's giving you a cup of tea
yeah.
or like
Exactly.
you have your paranthas and all of that stuff ready. So that's there, but like you can go out. Like yesterday, I was out. It's safe. You can. Yesterday, I was walking on the street at like 3 a.m. You know, and then I was at this open air up or like this rooftop bar which had like the entire city view, and then you could like you could just go around, walk around, do whatever you want to, so that's that amount of freedom you also have, and that's there as well, like, but you also have to take care of these little things, but these little things are like okay, but the amount of freedom that you get is traveling and living in a first world country which is safe. You can travel, you can take the public transit and still make it to places in time, and so that's something that's really nice. Like that's the one thing that I love in the city is like I could just go outside of my house and then take a tram and it's going to take me anywhere that I want to. So this is so something like that is like wonderful.
Amazing, amazing. So I think that's about it about your entire journey, right? So we have a small rapid fire round where I'll ask you three quick questions, and you'll have to like answer them in a quick and a short and crisp manner, right? So my first question is, does studying abroad guarantees you a job? Let's say you go and pick any type of study, any type of course or a diploma or a degree. Will it guarantee you a job or no?
Uh, I'd say no. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. There is no guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need to put yourself out there
Exactly.
and then get experience, get skills, and then that's only gets you a job. That's actually like a little bit of a trap that I feel people have is they think that they have a bachelor's degree from like a good university and they'll get a job when they apply for stuff, but that doesn't happen. Like I know a lot of people who have good universities and are not getting jobs. I know people who are much more educated than I am and still not getting jobs.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, yeah, I feel like yeah, that's a trap that most people fall into, right? Doing degrees that don't lead you anywhere, right? Doing just general business diplomas or like doing a generic MBA without a work experience, like without any work experience, that won't lead you much far, right?
Exactly,
You'll
exactly.
need to have,
You need to be smart
yeah,
of what kind of degree that you're choosing to do
yeah.
as well.
But this is supposed to be a rapid fire round, so we'll have to make it much more quick. Second
Mm-hmm.
question is: do you need to be rich to study in Canada?
No, you don't need to be rich. Like there are a lot of resources as well that you can like tap into if you're like intelligent and smart enough. The government will give you uh, OSAP or not OSAP actually that's a permanent residence, but like funding. Like I know a person who she's from Kenya and UFT she was studying and her stay, her education, and her living expenses. Oh, sorry, her food was also funded, so everything was funded. She was just paying for $0. She was only paying if she wanted to go out.
But she must have been a like a prodigy. Let's say you're an average student, you're an all right student. How do you then go about
Yeah.
it?
So you can also there you don't have to you can get
Yeah,
like there's partial funding, there's like
yeah.
smaller funding, there's 25%, there's student loans you could also get. So stuff like that also you could tap into to get a good education get a good education what do you call it? Get education. I think so. A friend of mine, his dad, he went to University of Alberta and he's a software engineer, and his dad owns a gift shop in Gujarat.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a loan. He got approved for a loan, and then now he's also paid off everything
Mm.
with interest, and now he's completely loan free, and now he's also getting a house, and he's also getting his parents here to live with him.
So he's
So
doing
it's
well for
possible.
himself. It's
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Perfect. So third question and the last question for this podcast is getting a permanent residence after completing your studies in Canada easy? And like is overall life in Canada like very rosy and very easy?
It's like it's I wouldn't say it's rosier. It's a like it's more organized. But with organized, you have to also realize it's very slow. So you will get the things you want, but you have to be patient
You have to be patient. And PR
because
part, like,
everything runs in.
is getting the PR easy or no?
It's like in my case, like I had because I didn't have enough experience, I had to do two jobs to get permanent residency. So you might have to like you might if you have the experience and if you are like educated enough and if you are good to the economy, they'll give you permanent residency.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. But if you're like working in a well, let's say if you're like what do you call it? If you're just working in a convenience store and think they'll give you residency, that's not going to happen. No.
Yeah.
But if you are good working at a good job, you're providing value to the economy, you have some sort of skill, you're a pharmacist, you're something, and then you'll get residency very easily.
Perfect. All right, Tejno, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for doing this for all the students in India who want to come to Canada. I think this podcast will definitely give them a lot of clarity. And yeah, again, once again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.